Hello everyone! Welcome to Reclamation. Reclaim the world. This is episode 36 of our Let's Play series for Minecraft Java, and in this episode we're going to be putting together the Fission Reactor and the Turbine. Okay, so the very first thing that we need to talk about is safety. Okay, so our systems are going to need safety features on them. Safety is the absolute most important thing that you can do. So you're going to grab out some of this Fission reactor casing, and we're going to come over here and we're going to fill this in. Now this block that I'm doing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 by 5. You can make the reactor and the turbine bigger. If you made all the parts that I told you to make, you should have plenty. I miscalculated on how many fans we were going to need, so you'll have to make more fans. And of course, you'll have to make more fission fuel assemblies and the corresponding control rod assemblies if you choose to make your reactor bigger. Okay? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about safety. So we're just going to put down a couple of blocks just so we can get an idea of where everything's going to go. Right? So this is what's called the frame. So you have the bottom, and you're going to have the sides, and then you're going to go up, and then there's going to be the cap or the ceiling. Okay, but right now we need to talk about safety. So you're going to grab out these Fission reactor logic adapters. Okay, and we're going to put these down 1, 2, 3 right here, and you're going to put one right there. All right, now, until we get this thing built, you're not going to be able to actually see what they do, but I'm going to tell you what they do. Each one of these, when the thing is all built, you can right click on them and it'll open up an interface. That interface will allow you to detect a different type of emergency. And we're going to have this set to turning it off. Okay? So emergency 1, emergency 2, emergency 3. Now these are redstone links from Create. They create a redstone pulse when they receive one, right? That can get transmitted. So we're going to give it a frequency. I want all of these guys to be on the same frequency. Oh, messed that one up. Shoot. Put that back down and put our cobblestone in the red slot. Okay, so these are all on the same frequency. You're going to take your wrench and you're just going to right click it. This guy is going to be the receiver because he's got the disc around his antenna, and these guys are going to be the transmitters, and they're all on the same frequency. You can make the frequency whatever you want, just don't make it a duplicate of a frequency you've already used. Okay? So basically what's going to happen is one of these is going to be assigned to, oh no, we're overheating. And one of these is going to be assigned to, oh no, we're running out of fuel. And then one of them will be assigned to, I think one of them is like critical damage or something like that. But anyway, filled waste, right? Because you're going to have damage if all of these happen anyway. So we are going to have another redstone link, I think. But yeah, I'll go get it in a few. So anyway, this will trigger a redstone pulse, and then they will send it to this guy and this guy will turn off. The machine But we're going to have another one that also injects water into the system, okay, via this sink. So it's just our fail-safe to make sure nothing goes awry. All right. Okay, so the first thing we're going to build is our turbine. So this stuff right here is your turbine stuff. First thing you're going to do is you're going to fill in the square. This could be as big as you want. It has to be equal on all sides, okay? And then you're going to come over here and grab your rotors. The rotors, and you're going to put them down. 2, 3, 4, 5. I only made 5, but you can make more if you want it to be taller. Then you're going to take these blades. I had to make more because I didn't have enough. So the recipe is easy. It's just jello with steel. Okay. So anyway, you just click this like that, and it'll fill up your blades. You just right click it. It kind of works like to create shafts, and it'll go all the way up. All right. All right. So we're going to need some of this turbine casing. We're going to need quite a bit of that, and we're going to need some. We can put these up right now. We're going to need some. We're going to need the electromagnetic coils. We're going to need some reactor glass, and we're going to need. Some pressure dispersers and the rotary complex, and some condensers and some vents. Okay, so get your handy dandy wand, and you're gonna make a cobblestone structure that will allow you to go up, because this thing is pretty darn tall. Okay, it is pretty darn tall. All right. So let's build the casings first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know we have 5, right? For sure. And we're going to put that guy on top. The rotational complex. And then you're going to need your pressure dispersers around that. Just like this. See that? And then you're going to need your electromagnetic coil. Electromagnetic coil goes on there. That is mandatory, okay? These guys are what create your power, so we want a whole bunch of those because they're going to create our power, right? So we need that. We need that. So the saturating condenser is like important because it's going to recycle our water, which is pretty darn important. Okay, pretty darn important. Let's go ahead and do another. Just like that. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and bring these up. Go. Boink. So this has to be like this. You're going to bring it around like that. It's building our frame, okay? Building our frame. And then these guys like this. But don't go hog wild with it, because on this outside part right here, you're going to want to put the turbine vents. Okay? Turbine vents are super, super important. Good rule of thumb to always follow is don't mess with the casing. Always have to have the outside casing. It's really super, super important that you retain the casing. Okay. And then we're going to put more turbine vents. Turbine vents for everybody. And like that. And we should have enough to be able to cap it off at the top. Now you can put more vents, but if you just did what I just did, you're probably not going to need them. Because that's a lot of darn vents. So. Oh, this is gonna be gnarly. And then some more vents. Alright. Ow. So that's all built right there. So we got to finish off these casings. Oops. Well. Just like that. And like that. Okay. So this is what it should look like. Right? Now you're going to need your reactor glass. And if you don't want to have to put 50 gazillion different things, then you probably should go ahead and grab the turbine valves. So we're going to need 2 turbine valves. We're going to need one right here for power output. And we're going to need one right here. Actually, let's bring it up one. One right here for our steam input. Alright? So you're going to want to measure it up, right? So the steam input is right here. So that means the steam output needs to be right here. So we can run over here and grab this. One of these lovely little fission reactor ports. And we can measure it again. So if this is the input, then this is the output on the reactor. Okay? Okie dokies. So you're going to get your glass, and you're going to put your glass down. Just like this. When it finishes, if you've done it properly, it should have like this redstone fuzziness on it, and it should become a multi-block. So watch, it's gonna do it. See that? Little redstone puffies. So now we have our multi-block done, and if you open it up, it says industrial turbine. And if you do this, it'll tell you what you're being limited by. So we're being limited by dispersers and blades, which is actually pretty good. We've got 9 coils. We have 60 vents. This is the max production output MFE. So that's pretty solid right there. Alright. So we can put all of this up because we are done with it. As you can see, I made you guys make a lot of parts. I did it for a purpose. Okay, I'm doing this as a demonstrational thing so you guys can see how to create it. But you can make this sucker as big as you want, okay? So you can get a lot of power output from this. All right. I might actually make a second one. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We definitely have plenty of parts to do so. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is the reactor. So the reactor is a little tricky, okay? It is. So we're going to get some of this casing. And we're going to need the fuel assemblies and the control rod assemblies. And we're going to need the... We don't need those. We already placed them. But we are going to need the fission reactor port. Okay? And we're going to need some reactor glass. Alright. So let's go build this thing. So you need to have this stuff already set up ahead of time. So you're going to have your radioactive waste barrel and your chemical tank all set up and ready to go, right? In the right spots. Right? Okay. So, we got to think about input output. So this guy is the output for coolant. So he's going to bring the steam to there, right? So we're going to bang this out real quick. Where on earth is my... I'm not seeing it. Okay, I'm gonna have to... I don't know what happened to it. It's odd. Did I accidentally put it up? Yes. Okay. I was like, what? There's no way. I'm out. Okay. So anyway, we gotta go ahead and beautify this real quick so that's done. And then this side too. Just like that. Right? Right. Okay, cool. Alright, put this guy up. And we're gonna have to do this again, so this is gonna be steam, and steam goes in a gas pipe. So that's our gas pipe. So we're gonna connect this up. It's not going to actually connect until we make the multi-block, so it's just a good idea to get all of this stuff taken care of before you create it, okay? So we're gonna get this guy. It will hook up to this because this is already created. Alright. So it's gonna come from here and it's gonna go over here into our turbine. Right? Alright. So that's our input. So now we need our output. So the output for this thing is water, right? So we have to have an input on our reactor. Okay. So we're just gonna build this up a little bit. And I think we're gonna put it... Well, actually, you know, we should probably put it over here, to be honest. You know? So we could put it like right here. And then you're gonna want to bang this out also. And go under the light. And, you know, make it purty and all that. And then come over here on this side and do it. Because aesthetics matter. There. Alright. this pipe actually requires a water pipe. Okay? Alright. So we're going to bring this guy like this. Like that. And up. And you see this up here? These turbine vents? That's where we're gonna attach the water. See that? So the condensers are gonna create the actual water and then it's gonna pump out. Alright. So that's how that works. Now this guy right here, this guy is gonna be our oh shit button, basically. So we're gonna have this set up as an input. So input only. And we're gonna bring the water over to here. Like that. But it's only for the initial fill, right? We only want it for the initial fill. So we should probably... Let's turn it into the wrench so I can pop these real quick. So what I want to do is I want to bring the water straight up and then over. So like that, and then it's going to go over like this and then down. So I want to do it this way because we're going to set it up to where we have a redstone thing right here that's going to turn it on and off. But I have to test it first to make sure it works with the pipes. Okay. So if you just hold N while you have the configurator, you can change its functionality. Most of the time you're going to want it on items, configurate items, but so we want this guy right here to be redstone sensitive. And you know, I don't think I've ever done that before. Oh, there, redstone sensitivity turned on. So that means that if this pipe right here, because it's going to be connected to this, if this pipe right here gets a redstone pulse, it's going to disconnect from the reactor port. And that is absolutely what we want. I'm wondering if maybe we should have it a block right here. Or if I should connect it straight to the reactor port. I don't know. We'll have to play around with it a little bit and see if we can figure out how to get it to work right. But, okay. So that's done. So we have our emergency water input. We have output steam into the turbine. And then the condensers are going to bring water back into the system. So it'll be like a closed system, right? So that's what we wanted. That's awesome. Give me these back. And go ahead and plug these up so we don't fall into the hole. Okay. So the next one we want to have is this. Now this is going to be configured to be our waste output. See how that it says output coolant, input only, output waste. And it's going to go into our radioactive waste barrel. That must always be there. And then this guy is going to be input, because that's where the fuel goes in, right? So we should be good to go at this point to go ahead and build this thing. We have enough ports, I think, for everything. So we're going to go ahead and put the port up. You're going to get out your fusion fuel assemblies, because these are going to be in a pattern like this, and you're just going to build them like that until you don't have any more, basically. Oh, I had 4 too many. Okay. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put these control rods on top. Just like that. Like that. And then you're going to want to take this fission reaction chamber casing and stuff, and you're going to want to put it... Stop doing that. You're going to want to put it on top. Like that. I don't know why it's doing that. Stop doing that. We do not want that behavior. And just bring up the sides. Oh, well. We'll get to that side. Just like that. And then you can just go around, drop off, and do this. See that? Ta-da! Alright. Looks good. Give it a good once over. And then you're going to put your fusion glass in. Your reactor glass. Just like that. You're going to do it on all the sides. We got a buddy in there. Come here, buddy. Now this sucker's gonna come on, but it's not gonna be on, okay? It's just gonna be like functional. But it won't actually do anything until we turn it on. So see that same redstone pulse, and now it's gonna fill up with water because we already had the water ready to go. You see that? Alright, so you right click it and it's going to show you a bunch of stuff. You can look at the stats. It'll tell you what the boil efficiency is. It'll tell you the capacity, fuel surface area, all that stuff. Max burn rate, rate limit. I don't know what all this stuff means, so We'll figure it out. The important thing is you don't want to explode, right? You don't want to explode. I don't want to explode. So make sure you have your please I don't want to explode stuff ready. Alright, so what I was telling you about is these things, okay? You can right click them now and tell them what to be assigned to. So I want this guy to be high temperature. Redstone mode, high temperature. Okay? And we want this one to be excess waste. And we want this one to be insufficient fuel. And we can actually put damage critical on if we want. We could put it over here. We're going to need another one of these guys though. And then you come over here on this guy. And you're going to say activate. Redstone mode activation. So when this thing gets redstone, it's going to turn off. Okay guys, so I changed up how we had this. So I went back to redstone, which is what I initially tried when I first started fiddling with this stuff. It looks like the best thing to do is sticky pistons. So let me walk you through this. So this thing right here, the problem with it is it has to have redstone signal. When it has redstone signal, then it'll be on. Okay? So stick a block right here. I need to mute this so you guys can hear what I'm doing. Okay. Alright. I am going to unmute it, but for right now it needs to be muted. Okay, so the way this works is there is... I'm just going to break this so you can see. There's a redstone torch right here, okay? Both sides have this. I couldn't figure out any other way to get it to work using the create stuff, so I just went to this because it's more simplistic. So basically the redstone torch, as long as these blocks are all here, because you know redstone can pass through blocks, this thing is going to get a solid redstone connection. Okay, that's going to turn it on and off. I know you can't hear it because I turned it off, but it's on. Okay. So if one of these goes off, right, this is what's going to happen. Let me get a lever out. So let me turn the noise back on. So if I put this lever right here and I activate this thing, it's going to shut off the machine. Okay? So just pretend that this is one of these things. Insufficient fuel, excess waste, high temperature. Okay? So when one of these goes off, it's going to emit a redstone torch. The piston is going to go forward, which breaks the current, basically. And then it turns the machine off. Alright? So this is a redstone repeater. You're going to need 2 redstone repeaters. You're going to want one on either side. We'll do that side in a second. So you need 2 redstone torches, 2 sticky pistons, 2 repeaters. Okay? So now it's on. So, oh no, we have too much waste. It triggers a redstone pulse. Well, not a pulse. It will turn the redstone on until it's taken care of. And this thing will move the block out, which breaks the connection, so it turns off the machine. Alright, so that's how that works. Now let's talk about this side over here. So this side over here is the same thing. There's a redstone torch right here. Okay? So this is constantly having a signal because of this block right here, which turns off the pipe, right? Okay, well, oh no, we're overheating. That means there's no coolant in the system. And this will turn on. I didn't do this part. Hold up. This will turn on and it start inputting coolant into the system, right? The coolant gets filled up, temperature is okay, and it breaks the connection. See that? Alright, cool. Alrighty then. So this is all working within proper parameters. So the first thing we're going to do is turn off this noise so you can actually hear me, and so I don't, like, get a headache. Okay. So, this thing is working now. It's on. That's our temperature. That's our fuel. We're doing good. Let's see how much fuel we have. I mean, we're losing fuel, which is bad. So we're going to probably have to increase our production on the fuel because it's just not going fast enough. Sulfuric acid is petering, it looks like. Okay, so it's going to be this stuff. What's this doing? It's not doing anything. So we are out of sulfur. We are out of sulfur because we are, well, we got plenty of coal, so I don't know why we're out of sulfur. It says there's no place for the hydrogen to go. Can I dump excess? Alright, we're dumping excess. That'll get it moving again. So that's what was causing it. Gotta be careful about that stuff. Okay, well, it'll catch back up here in a second. So this thing should be going full tilt. We're producing sulfuric acid and we're moving along now. Alright, well, it's going to take a little while to catch up. So we are losing fuel, and that's something to keep an eye on. So basically this thing is set. We've got nuclear waste coming into our nuclear waste barrel. So what this thing does is it produces steam. The steam goes through here, it goes through here, and makes the blades move and produces power. So you can see how much power we're outputting. It should tell us. So we're producing 2.84 KFE. I have no idea if that's good or not. It says max production is 182 MFE. So we're probably having some issues. It's probably just not producing enough steam for whatever reason. It says the boil efficiency is 1.0, which is probably not very good. It says you can set the rate. If I type in 10. Okay. That just, oh yeah, we're spinning now. All I did was 10, right? We're really draining the fuel now. Our temperature went up, but we're now producing a lot more steam. Okay, well, anyway, we're producing power. It's not going to be forever, though, because our fuel is going to run out. We're going to have to definitely do something about that. It is shooting up every now and then, so I don't know. I don't think we're breaking even, though. I'll have to keep an eye on it. But anyway, as you can see, our turbine's going along pretty good now. It shows how much steam we have, and it shows how much power we're producing. So now we're producing 285 kFE. So if we make this go higher, it's going to produce more steam, of course, which is going to produce more power. But it's also going to, yeah, we're producing waste at a pretty good clip. Let's do some taking care of on that. Let's show, I want to remove all this. Because our waste setup is going to be over here. This little flat area right here. So we're going to have to get this set up for containment purposes. So we got in and out, right? So this is our initial barrel, and it is going to get full rather fast. So we need pressurized tubes. And I would like to have these fish underneath the barrels. So see, these are going to be our input. So we're going to run it under here. Right there. Okay. That, and this guy is going to come along right here and hook up to these guys, and these guys are all going to get filled up. This just ensures that our nuclear waste does not go to waste, and we don't have to shut down our reactor because our nuclear waste is full. That's all that's for. There. Super. Okay. So now our nuclear waste has plenty of places to go. So we're just going to let it collect in all of these barrels. And from there, we should be able to start using it. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I'm unsure on what this does. And we have it set to 10 right now, but I think I'm going to turn it down to 5 because, you know, I really don't know. I don't know everything about this, so just to be safe, I think we're going to have it on 5. It looks like we're doing okay. We were doing okay on 10, but I'm a little concerned. Everything looks like it's working though. It looks like it's doing okay. I don't know if this thing can just randomly explode or not. You know, I don't know if it, like, it looks like we're doing all right. We don't have any damage. The heat is okay. It's in the green. So it looks like our coolant is fine. I mean, it looks like we're producing a pretty decent amount of power. So I think we should just leave it on 5, honestly. I really do. Best not to be greedy, right? Looks like we're doing good on the fuel. I think we might actually be getting an excess, which is really good. Alright, so we have the nuclear waste taken care of. So let's look at this other stuff, and hopefully this won't explode. Like I said, when you're messing with this stuff, you should back up your save, because, I mean, one thing goes wrong and it'll just blow up. So alright, so what we're going to want to do now is figure out something to do with the, I don't know why that's not stacking. It's odd. Okay. What we're going to want to do now is figure out what to do with the nuclear waste, right? Because these are going to fill up, and we need to be processing it. Do you see this? Look at what just happened. Oh my gosh. Stop. Why is it not giving me water? Thought we already did this. Why is water not going into it? It's gonna explode. Oh, boom. There it goes. Water is not going into it, and I don't know why. You see this? Why? Oh, there it goes. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. What on earth, dude? You guys saw it, right? I changed that. That thing was on. I don't know what's going on with this. Why would it just all of a sudden run out of water like that? It was like instant, right? Oh. Wow, that thing is filled with steam. Why is that filled with steam? Okay. Okay, that was very, very scary. I wonder how long it takes for the damage to go down. I don't know, we'll just leave it, right? We're gonna have to fix this thing. I don't know what the heck happened. Okay guys, I figured it out. I know exactly what's going on, and I know exactly how to fix it. So the reason why we had the steam buildup in the turbine is because of the power. Yes, it was because we had too much power, if you can believe that. So if you look at this, it shows the power that is inside the machine. So you see where it says reactor glass, and then it has 352.42 MFE. Well, now it says 41. Okay, that green line right there is how much power is in the turbine. Okay, And then below that is how much steam is in the turbine. All right. So apparently, if this sucker fills up with power and the power has nowhere to go, then it stops processing steam. Because this up here turns the steam back into water and sends it back over here to the reactor. Because we have this turned off, right? Well, if it fills up with power, then it completely stops doing that. So this will fill up with steam, not produce water. This will run out of water, which then it will overheat and explode, basically. Unless you catch it in time, which luckily we did. But that's not the point. It will explode. So, what can you do to fix that? Well, you have to consume the power somehow. Or reduce the power output so that you are baselining. So what you're consuming should be what you're creating. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to have a problem. Well, I couldn't figure out an exact average for consume versus create. So I made an energy trash can. An energy trash can is cobblestone, redstone, and some stone. Easy peasy. So I ran up here after I made it, and I put it down right here at the end of, this is where all our machines were going to go. So I put it right here, and I configured it, right? And it took me a little while to configure it, but that's my settings. And if you can see, right, when you go to increase it or decrease it, you could do it in increments. So if you hold control, it increases it to 10,000. If you let go, it's 1,000. And if you do control shift, it's 1. Okay? And shift is 100. So you can do it in whatever increments that you need to do it in, but it does take a little while. All right? And you could check this or uncheck this. If you uncheck it, it's unlimited and it'll just suck up all your energy. Okay, so once you have that, then you come over here and you're going to adjust the rate limit. So I have my rate limit at 3.58. It took me a little bit to figure out what to put it on. So initially I had it on 5. And then I dropped it down to 4, and it was still too much. And then I dropped it down to 3, and then it wasn't enough. So I was just watching it. You can tell if it's ticking up or down. Okay? It's okay if it's ticking down, as long as it's ticking down very, very slowly. All right? If you don't get it perfect, that's okay. So anyway, this is what I settled on, 3.58. I mean, it is still making waste and everything. So it's just not making a whole lot. But at least our steam isn't building up and we're not going into nuclear meltdown. So that's good, right? That's a good thing. So obviously if you make a whole bunch of trash cans and you don't care about it, you know, sucking up all your energy, you can put on a whole bunch of trash cans, set that thing to as high as it can tolerate, and generate a whole bunch of nuclear waste. But I don't want to have to worry about it exploding, and so I tried to balance it. So the way it is right now is it's pretty balanced. It's not going to explode, and we are actually gaining fuel, which is really great. So I increased how much fuel we were making over here. I added another chemical oxidizer that's processing the sulfur dust. I added another autocrafter with another arm, and I added 2. I think it was 2. I added 2 more pressurized reaction chambers with their hookups. So these guys are the ones that are making the sulfur. So we're actually making quite a lot of sulfur. I could probably add another chemical oxidizer. So the chemical oxidizer is what's making the sulfur dioxide, which is making the sulfur trioxide, and then the sulfur trioxide is going into here, and sulfur making the sulfuric acid, and then it's coming over here, and it's processing these fluorite blocks. Yeah, so it's just going a bit faster now, which is nice. So, okay. Now that we have this all stabilized, what are we supposed to... What is all this for? What are we doing here? Well, we want this nuclear waste, and I'm going to show you why we need the nuclear waste. So the nuclear waste is used to make plutonium and polonium. Solar neutron activator to make polonium requires sunlight. So if you're underground like me, you need to keep that in mind. And you already know what the isotopic centrifuge is, because we've done that before. Okay, so we make those, right? And that allows us to make the pellets. So this will make plutonium pellets with the fluorite dust and some water. And polonium pellets with polonium, water, and fluorite dust. That's why we were making the dust over there, right? The byproduct on this is spent nuclear waste. You will need to void it with a trash can. You can't do anything with this. You have to, otherwise you have to store it in nuclear waste barrels, and it will decay over a long period of time. So I highly suggest you just void it with a trash can. Okay, so why do we want to make these pellets? Okay, well, these pellets are used to make all kinds of things, including the mecha suit, right? As you can see. But the most important thing that we want to make is this fusion reactor. So the fusion reactor directly uses the polonium okay? And then, of course, the plutonium is used for the SPS. So the SPS is a way to make antimatter. So the antimatter is going to be part of the quests. See it? So we are going to need to do this. And the antimatter itself, you can make some really cool stuff with it. So check this out. The big thing is this antiprotonic nucleosynthesizer. So this sucker right here can do some sweet stuff. Alright? Skeleton skull into wither skull. But the biggest thing we want is you can take nether stars and make the heart of the sea. And then you can take a beacon and make end crystals. You see where I'm coming with this? So what that basically means is we're going to end up summoning the end dragon, right? We're going to be summoning the end dragon and fighting the end dragon, and then that will be the end of the mod pack, more than likely. So, but anyway, so we have to do all of this. So we're going to end up making the antimatter contraption, and we're going to be making the fusion reactor. Now the fusion reactor is really nice because it doesn't explode. So that's really sweet. The fusion reactor, though, it requires a different type of fuel. Okay? So you have to have deuterium and tritium. So these guys are really not that hard to make, the deuterium and tritium. But we'll get into that in a different episode. We're not going to do that right now. But in the next episode, we will be putting together the isotopic centrifuge and the solar neutron activator and creating polonium pellets and plutonium pellets. That's going to be the goal for the next episode. And if we can make enough of them, then we'll probably put together all the blocks we need for the fusion reactor. Now, these things are expensive, so we should only make how many we'll need. Okay? That was a lot. So, now you guys know how to stop this thing from doing a total meltdown on you. And we should be all right as rain now. So guys, I had a lot of fun today, and I hope you did too, and I hope you found this video informational. I think we really did a good job, considering it's the first time I've ever built the reactors. So the reactor and the turbine. So yeah. It was kind of complicated. It required a lot of stuff, but hey, we did it, and yay. So make sure you guys make those machines. Okay, you're gonna need to make like 4 of these isotopics and 2 of the solar neutrons, because I think the solar neutrons are actually faster, but I'm not sure. If you want to make 4 of each, then that's fine. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong doing that, right? But you should have all the mats and everything to make these. It shouldn't be a problem at all. Okay? Alright. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for coming along today. I really appreciate you guys. Y'all take care, alright? Toodles!